Hey guys, it's me. I'm not Greed, but hi. So I made a video chatting shit with no script. I'm making another video chatting shit with no script. I just want to have a word about the matchmaking and the current state Overwatch is in, sort of mid-season patch, if that's what you want to call it. I don't know what the fuck has changed. I don't know what has been broken, but it's so different to what it was literally a few weeks ago when I made the top 500 video and I managed to hit it, because I don't know if you guys have seen, but I made a video saying if you guys want better matchmaking, if you want better quality games, do this, this and this. A few people were saying I was coping, whatever, I don't really give a shit. A few people actually agreed with me and said, hey look, I appreciate the video, what you said actually worked. But now I'm getting in games where it's like Masters 5, Masters 4, all the way to Plat 2, Plat 1. I understand the population is low because the game has fallen off. It's not what it used to be. But I'm happy to wait an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes for a game that is going to last longer than 3 minutes because we're going to get rolled or they're going to get rolled. The matchmaking in 6v6 is so horribly bad. It actually doesn't make sense. You guys have a formula and it works, but whenever you feel like you just want to change it and then fuck it up again. You guys done this when the game first released with the whole rank system and this whole 5 wins, 7 wins bullshit. And then eventually you went back to the percentage thing anyway. I don't know what you guys have changed, but whatever it was last season was working perfectly fine. How can I only party up with someone that's only 5 ranks between, yet I can get into games with gold players? It doesn't make any sense. The Genji nerfs as well, or the Genji rework, should we say. We'll get into that later. Again, why fix something if it's not broken? I have played him a little bit slightly today, and to be honest, I think the ammo nerf was a little bit harsh. Genji is the only DPS in the game that can actually force hit scan off angles. So if he's in a bad spot, the game gets very boring very quickly. I wouldn't even say Genji's in a bad spot. It's just that everyone else provides so much more value than he does. There's not really much point in running him unless the team is built around him and he can get a lot of value. But even then, there's not really much point because other characters can do that a lot better. Sojourn with a Mercy Pocket, Widow being obnoxious as fuck as well. They're the two main examples that you'd run, right? From my understanding, he was changed because he done too much poke, or they wanted to change something with his poke damage. But we're dominated in a meta where poke is so valuable. That is the best thing to do. So in my opinion, it's kind of a pointless change. Primarily because his kit isn't to do with poke. I mean, you poke if you've got nothing else to do. But realistically, you go in, do your damage, you make your space, try and get a pick, and you get out. If you're shit, fail, and you most likely lose the fight. So the risk to reward ratio is so pant. But yeah, hey, let's take his ammo away anyway. I don't know. I really don't know what they're smoking. I'm not sure when exactly it became a crime if you're good at a character, because understandably, if you're good at Widow, you should not be able to dominate the game in such a way, because you literally just sit at the back of the map and you aim. That's it. There's not really much risk involved for such high value. Same with Sojourn. You can just sit at the back, you poke, maybe you get your pick with your right click, and then you go in, you've made your space. But with characters with such a high skill ceiling, being Tracer, Genji, and some others I can't really think of right now, I don't see why, if someone has put in the hours or put in the time, become that good at the character, why should they have their skill reduced? Just because other people don't like it. It doesn't really make any sense to me. I think the game was much more enjoyable when we always saw those high skill characters or those high skill players. Who doesn't like to watch a high skill Tracer or a high skill Genji? Literally everybody finds that entertaining. Maybe when you see a Rhine mirror instead of this fucking horse, this absolute broken horse that's always in ranked that I despise playing against. The easier characters to play have way too much value, and I think it definitely needs to change if this game wants to continue on a positive trajectory. Cool, I understand, you know, there's obviously the casual market. Casual players probably spend a lot of money on the game. For example, your Juno players, your Mercy players, your Ana players, whatever. I'm sure the casual population is massive. Realistically, sometimes you need to take a step back and say, we want to make a fun game, not a game that's a money machine. Call of Duty's had this downfall. They got too greedy, and look at what the position is for them. Blizzard have such a good IP, they have such a good team, and I know that they can actually make something enjoyable. But if all they have in mind is a cash cow, I can't really give an input on how much longer this will last. Even if the casual population is massive and they stay around even after competitive players leave, eventually they will snowball into a competitive player and they'll be like, actually, you know what, I'm really into this game, let's take it a bit more seriously. Because that's what happens with everybody, right? I played quick play for months before ranked came out. Obviously I got hooked on ranked and I was obsessed with getting better, climbing the ladder. This will eventually happen to every other casual player. Whether the new population can sustain the players that move to ranked is a different story. But put it this way, if every other ranked player ends up with my mindset, in the case of where oh shit, this is annoying, this is annoying, this is annoying, this is shit. Eventually they will just go and leave and find something else. Or you have players that just play for fun. They won't actually contribute and purchase new things because they've played the game for so long. So why do they need to get other things? And then you just get this really weird stagnation period where nothing's really happening. It's such a difficult position to be in because the game is so complex and you can't really satisfy everybody. And I understand that. The power creep has just got too much. And to be honest, I think the whole game just needs a shake up. It's just become a massive electrical box with so many cables and it's all tangled. It's such a mess. Sometimes simple is better. The main suggestion that comes to mind is you ask either a bunch of streamers that have played the game for a long time. You can ask a few professional players what their take is on the meta, what they think is probably best. You'll come to a conclusion. I think the community should be a bit more involved as well. I mean, this is the player base. So I think our opinion should be somewhat valid. Now, I don't actually think asking other people for their take on the meta is actually a bad idea. I mean, sure, there might be a few people that might want to change it to their benefit so they can climb the ladder a lot easier, but I think the overall enjoyment for everyone else is much more important for the general state of the game. Hence why I'm saying other inputs would be beneficial rather than you guys just having a balanced team to try and estimate or guess what is better and what's more enjoyable to play with. A majority of the team that work for Blizzard, they're not really higher than plat. So when you get into the higher stakes of the game, they don't really understand how obnoxious and how broken certain things can be. So they only change certain things for the casual player and they don't actually see the entire outcome for the people that actually play the game a lot longer than they do. It's just somewhat annoying because after playing this game for so many years, you can see the downtrend in reward. It's the best way I can put it, to be honest with you. In the earlier seasons, if you came across a really good player and you lose, you wouldn't be pissed. You'd just be like, okay, you know what? This guy clearly plays the game a lot. He's good at the game, or they're good at the game, whatever. I'm not bad about it. Now, if you lose, it's not a case of they're better. It's just a case of who has more bullshit. To be honest, in my opinion, I think Pharah was probably the worst addition this game's ever had. She is the most annoying person I've ever had to play against. How can you take every annoying quality, for example, the insta-kill and the flying, insane movement, and just put it into one person? It baffles me, bro. I'm just going to use Echo and Pharah for reference here. They're not entirely annoying to play against. I mean, if someone's good at them, it's a little bit challenging, but it is somewhat reasonable. For example, Echo is really slow besides her shift. Pharah is quite easy to kill because her hitbox is massive, and they're quite easy to deal with. But Freya is literally every definition of a piss take. Way too much poke, way too easy to get value, and not enough downsides to actually make it a fair character. This is coming from someone that has played her and played against her, and I genuinely think she deserves a ban every game. I think the hero ban thing is a cheap way to deal with the problem, but it's definitely the best solution we have for the time being. As of this season, the way the game is, it values easy characters way too much. The solo carry potential's gone. The matchmaking is a coin flip. Everything is focused on revenue. There's not really much of an incentive to actually play. You're better off having a much less stressful experience just playing quick play. To be honest, competitive is just not in the best spot right now. Stadium is fun, but they've just recently introduced Freya, so I'm not really trying to play that until that's sorted because that is just fucking annoying. I don't really want to come home, load up Overwatch, and then I'm just wanting to punch my screen. The amount of times I've been chat banned as well, oh my god. It's not even a case of me being toxic half the time. I could say something in maybe a passive aggressive tone. I could say, can we please get the fuck off Moira and get someone useful? I get silenced for 2 weeks. This is why no one fucking speaks anymore. I'll give Blizzard some credit here. They have done a really good job with the last few patches. The game is actually in a much better spot than it was, say, 6 months ago. But there are these core issues that they're just kind of skipping around, and I wish they would address them properly. It's not a case of I'm unsatisfied with how the game is. It's just certain things that make the experience a lot more unenjoyable than what people realize. And if you play this game most of the week, you would understand where I'm coming from, and I think you probably agree with me as well. I honestly think if they put a bit more effort into fixing the matchmaking, the risk to reward per character when it comes to ranked, so therefore if you're actually better at the game, you can actually win rather than having it be a coin flip. Certain characters just need to be dialed down slightly. The power creep has just got way too crazy the last few years, and it's now starting to show, especially in ranked, higher level rank. The report system is very, very easy to abuse, especially if you're in a stack. I wish that wasn't AI based, and I wish an actual human worked on that rather than just have it be sort of a numbers thing, especially with someone that spent a lot of money on the game. I'd prefer to keep my account and not lose it over swearing. Besides that, I think I've mentioned most things in the video. If you made it this far, congratulations. I'm interested to hear some different takes on what I've said today. I think a lot of people will agree with what I've said. Maybe they might come up with a few counter arguments, but I read every comment, so feel free to leave me one. Much love. I stream on Twitch mostly every week. Take a look. Link is in the description. And yeah, take care.